Some people walk into a room and instantly feel the mood, long before a single word is spoken. This wasn't learned from a book, it was learned for survival. Reading the room was the only way to stay safe. Psychology calls this traumatic intelligence. Welcome back to Clarity Psychology. Today, we explore the 10 signs of a highly perceptive mind, forged by growing up too fast. The first sign happens the moment they walk into a space. When they walk into a family gathering or a crowded office, a normal person just sees people talking, but this person immediately picks up on the hidden tension. They notice the tiny shift in someone's posture. They catch the micro expression of anger that flashes for a split second. They do not just notice when someone is upset, they feel it in their own nervous system. Psychologists call this emotional hyperattunement. Their brain's alarm center, the amygdala, was trained to track emotional data because, in their past, predicting a bad mood meant preventing an explosion. The second sign is how they handle chaos. When a normal brain encounters a sudden crisis, the logic center shuts down and panic takes over, but their brain does the exact opposite. When things fall apart, they do not freeze. They click into a cold, hyper-focused gear. While everyone else is screaming or paralyzed, they're quietly assessing the exits and assigning tasks. Researchers call this stress inoculation. Their brain is perfectly calibrated for high stakes. Why? Because chaos used to be their normal everyday life. People often praise them for being fearless, but it's not fearlessness. To them, a crisis isn't a disaster, it's just a puzzle they've solved 100 times before. The third sign is that they don't just observe people, they dissect them. Think about them driving home from a completely normal dinner with a friend. While most people would just turn on the radio and relax, their brain is replaying the entire conversation. They analyze the slight change in the friend's tone. They search for the hidden meaning behind actions that other people don't even notice. Clinical experts refer to this as hypermentalizing. That's when the subconscious needs to decode the hidden thoughts and motives of others. They became a student of human nature because understanding people felt absolutely essential to their survival. But this constant compulsive behavioral analysis has a heavy ripple effect. It leaves their mind completely exhausted because their brain never actually clocks out. Sign number 4 is the exhaustion of playing a character. They unconsciously change their personality depending on who they're with. If they're with a loud, dominant coworker, they shrink and become the perfect listener. If they're with someone anxious, they immediately become the calm, grounded rock. This is not being two-faced. Behavioral experts call this social camouflage. They know exactly what version of themselves will keep the peace, make the other person comfortable, or de-escalate tension. They blend in perfectly to whatever environment they're dropped into. But after years of adapting to everyone else, they're left with a tragic question. Who am I, really? The fifth sign is a dark paradox. Peace actually triggers their anxiety. Think about a phase in life where everything is finally going right. The bills are paid, their relationship is healthy, and there's no immediate crisis. When things are going well, they don't relax. They brace for impact. Behavioral scientists call this a conditioned threat response. When a non-traumatized person experiences a streak of stability, they feel calm. When this person experiences stability, their brain immediately thinks, when is the other shoe going to drop? Their nervous system is so used to conflict that a peaceful life feels like a trap. They're so used to looking for threats that they'll subconsciously pick a fight. They sabotage healthy partnerships simply because chaos feels more familiar than safety. The sixth sign is an extreme, quiet self-reliance. When normal people run into a major problem, their first instinct is to ask for help. But for this person, depending on others feels like a massive, terrifying risk. When childhood environments aren't reliably supportive, the brain internalizes resourcefulness. They learned very early that waiting for someone to rescue them was a waste of time. So they never ask for a favor. They never ask for a loan. They just figure it out on their own. Psychologists call this hyper-independence. It makes them successful on paper, but it leads to severe burnout. They're carrying the weight of their world completely alone. The seventh sign reveals itself the moment they try to physically stop moving. Notice what happens when they finally sit down to rest. Within 10 minutes, their chest starts to tighten. Their brain tells them they're in danger. They've subconsciously equated their physical safety with their usefulness. When a normal person rests, their body easily switches into recovery mode. But for this person, the nervous system is locked in a sympathetic drive. Their body is constantly pumping a low drip of cortisol, the stress hormone, into their bloodstream. So when the body tries to rest, the brain literally misinterprets that stillness as a threat. Psychologists call this the guilt of resting. The eighth sign is the heavy weight of carrying a highly sensitized emotion center. They feel things at a frequency most people can't even access. A sad song hits them differently. An act of injustice on the news makes them physically ill. A simple act of kindness from a stranger at the grocery store can bring them to tears. In psychology, this is known as emotional contagion. It's the uncontrollable ability to catch and absorb the feelings of everyone in the room. Through repeated emotional stress, their brain's emotion center became finely tuned to absorb the environment. They don't just observe the world, they carry it. But this profound depth of feeling leads to severe empathy burnout. They absorb the pain and the heavy emotional weather of everyone around them, and in the process, they completely ignore their own needs. The ninth sign is a quiet, guarded boundary around their trust. They don't take things at face value. If someone gives them a compliment, they immediately wonder what the hidden motive is. They don't hand out trust easily, but when they do, it's absolute. Cognitive experts call this adaptive skepticism. Their brain built thick, heavy filters because not all signals of safety in their past were genuine. Those filters might make them seem closed off to strangers, but they serve a powerful biological purpose. They ensure that the few people they finally let into their inner circle are incredibly safe, honest, and fiercely loyal. The 10th sign is the heavy cost of always being 10 steps ahead. They know where the exits are in a crowded restaurant. They know exactly what they'll say if an argument breaks out. They have 3 backup plans for a simple dinner out with friends. Their threat detector is permanently stuck in the on position. Psychologists call this chronic hypervigilance. People love them for it. People praise them for being the reliable one, the one who sees everything coming and fixes it before it starts. But carrying the weight of that constant anticipation is draining their soul. If this is you, remember this: your radar is a gift, but it was forged in a storm. A time when you weren't allowed to be at peace. Your nervous system at last deserves to rest. You are allowed to walk into a room and simply exist. It's terrifying to turn the radar off, but true safety isn't knowing what everyone is thinking. It's knowing you'll be okay, even when you don't. If you saw yourself here, please consider subscribing to Clarity Psychology and tell us in the comments which of these 10 signs finally put into words exactly how your mind works. Just drop a number. Thank you for letting us be your mirror. You are not alone in this, and we will see you in the next video.